Okay, so check out that playtime on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Sure, the speedrunners are scoffing at this because we just started the game. Surely we should be under 50 minutes. Valkyrie Profile Lenneth is the PlayStation Portable port of Valkyrie Profile, the PlayStation 1 video game from around 1999, I believe it was. Perhaps one of the things I should mention right off the bat is that if you're playing this game for the first time, you better plug it in. Because if you're playing on a PlayStation Portable, you're going to have to sit through about 50 minutes of unskippable dialogue, storytelling, and a little bit of exploration. When I do my final video on Valkyrie Profile, I'll explain all that nonsense, because you're going to have to, if I were you, I would definitely get a laptop or watch a TV show or something and find something else to kill the time, because you're not going to be able to skip this. And the developers took a major risk by coming out right off the bat with a game that you can't do anything in for at least an hour. That was a terrible move on their part, and I hope that the remake of this game, I think it's the iOS remake they made, fixed that. But we'll deal with all that nonsense later. In the meantime, I'm recording this using the Diamond DM HD Capture. What is that called? The Game Capture device. It's using USB. I'm recording onto a desktop. And I'm not expecting the final video product to synchronize properly with this video. So what I'll do instead, in fact, yeah, it looks like the video counter is at 103, 104, 105. Okay, so it's really off. Although my recording's already at 2 minutes. So it looks like what I'll be doing instead of my usual videos is just recording this video now and sort of combining it with these audio diary entries separately. So I'll do the whole David Ayer thing. I'll collect a bunch of footage, then piece it together into a video later. Which isn't my want, but hey, it's what professionals do, and I might as well learn eventually, right? So let's get started already. We're leaving this screen because we've already saved. In fact, here on the data screen, I'm able to save and load. So I'll just go back and load where I originally was. We are here in the Artolian Mountain Ruins, which is the very first area you visit at the beginning of the game. It's a tutorial area. Let's proceed to the next area. The game actually doesn't tell you how to do a whole bunch of stuff. I'm just going to mention in passing that you can run as you normally would, and you can double tap left or right on the D-pad to run, which you'll probably want to do in some stages because you want to avoid certain enemies. We'll get to the explanation in a moment. Here's Freya. Apparently I think she's the sister of the main character. We are the Valkyrie on the left, of course. Freya is the goddess on the right. She'll be helping us out through this tutorial area. Any contact means a fight, but you never know who will be first. Well, if we swing the sword and strike the enemy, we get first strike. That's according to the manual, anyway. So let's proceed over here and brandish our sword. Control here is not particularly good. In fact, I'm playing on a television, a flat screen TV using the composite video, or excuse me, the component video, red, green, and blue. But the capture device is going to have a lot of lag, so I won't be paying attention to the capture device. I'm going to be paying attention to the flat screen that I'm playing on. Okay, basic combat. The game doesn't tell you anything. That's unfortunate. But at this point in the game, it's pretty straightforward. We have Jolanda, the mage in the back. She'll be whipping out magic spells. On top, we have Freya. She will also be whipping out some magic spells. So these are projectile attacks. They'll be handy later. Arngrim's on the bottom. He's brandishing the big, the Buster Sword from Cloud. He looks kind of like Guts from Berserk, and he's brandishing the big sword from Final Fantasy VII, I guess. And we have Valkyrie up in front. She'll be taking the point with a sword. Each of these characters is mapped to a button on the PlayStation Portable controller, as you can see on the top, as you can see above my party over there on the right. Top right-hand corner of the screen. There's a triangle, a circle, an X, and a square. There's a 1 next to each of those symbols. Don't worry about that now. That'll be important later. This game uses a real-time... How do I say this? It's a... Okay. It is a tactical fighter. But each button press is mapped to a specific character. So as soon as I press a button, the combat will begin, and our turn will end after each character has been used. So I'll press each button once. What I'm going to do is start with Jolanda in the back with the circle button. I'm going to use Freya on top to unleash a projectile attack as well. And then Valkyrie and Arngrim will finish up by attacking the stunned enemy after the projectile attacks hit. So I'll start with circle. Here comes Jolanda. Here comes Freya. Oh, looks like we got him already. Arngrim didn't get a chance to join in. I'll do the breakdown of the combat a bit later. This is the easy stuff. This is the stuff you don't have to spend too much time thinking about. And I'll explain all that later, don't worry. Like I said, it's a tutorial area, so let's see what's going on with this game. I'm not going to any of the other areas right now. I'm just headed straight so we can get our bearings. Down to the lower level, huh? Won't do that yet. Can't go right. So let's go left. Should be another dude here. Yep, there he is. Just brandish the sword. Battle number 2. Ah, different enemy. Okay, fine. So what's up with this dude? The Ghast. So let's get started. Similar setup as we did last time. We're going to use Jolanda to get things started. That firestorm will launch the enemy into the air, and I'll get Freya ready as soon as he lands. There we go. As you probably saw, it was a bit of a wind-up on Freya's attack. She has to jump into the air, teleport, launch a couple of fireballs, and and then so there's a bit of a delay every time she has to get started. But the two sword wielders, they're ready to go as soon as you press the button. Part of the strategy in this game is managing when everyone basically at the time everyone's attack, so that they all land basically at a time that you want. I'll explain all that when I explain the combo system, okay? Guess what? I can't go anywhere else. So eventually I'm going to have to make a decision about what door to go through. So let's check out the map. I'll press the R button on the PlayStation Portable. Remember, this is a PlayStation 1 port, so the game had to compromise because there weren't 2 buttons on the top of the controllers. There weren't 4 buttons, only 2. Okay, I'm looking at this map right here, and it's like, okay, this can't be all there is to the map, is there? Well, it was at an angle like that. I wonder what's going on with that. So I'm going to hold down the square button and press up and down on the D-pad to kind of rotate it a bit. Oh, wait, what's that? Yeah, those green arrows, that's what's going on. So it looks like there's a plane behind the plane I'm currently on, which is currently lit. So that's what these arrows represent. And let's press the triangle button, let's go to the topics. That's going to explain how to move around this map. You're going to need to do this because there are some stages that actually require you to actually go to the front and back planes. Kind of like Fatal Fury, but remember this is a 2D game with the ability to go into the foreground and the background. So you're going to need to know how to manipulate this map. Rotate up and down, rotate across, move, expand and shrink. Oh yeah. Whoops, press the wrong button. That expand and shrink. The left trigger actually zooms in, the right trigger zooms out. No worries. Of course, I can rotate like this. In case you need to be able to see all angles. But what really matters are those triangles, those little green pentagons you see in the back. That means I can go through these doors and go to the back plane. So I'll do that in a moment. So I press up to go into the rear, and let's see what Freya says. Let's check out the contents of that bag. It's possible it could be something, yeah, whatever. It's just loot. This is where the control actually gets kind of janky. Facing the chest, you have to crouch and press the X button, which I guess isn't that bad, because it's actually, there's some booby traps here in this game. But I'll just crouch in front of it and press the X button. Iron barred key. Well, I needed that anyway, so it's good. At least I assume I needed that. And anyone who's played the PlayStation game is going to complain about this. Any stage that isn't specifically a widescreen screen. How I say this? Any screen with a vertical scrolling component or a 4:3 resolution in the original PlayStation game got squished, and you basically had to zoom in on the screen so that when I jump, you didn't have to. The screen didn't scroll at all in the PlayStation X in the PlayStation version, because that game was meant to be played on traditional 4:3 television screens. PlayStation Portable has a widescreen 16:9 aspect ratio, and their compromise was to basically zoom in the screen instead of just using a letterbox, I guess. That was unfortunate. I wish they didn't do that. And that'll be a problem in later stages. But you can see right here, the sprite sizes are completely normal, and the screen scrolls without any incident. 16:9. No problems there. So let's go to the back rooms that I avoided last time. Which one do I want to go to? Let me start at the beginning. That's where I came in. So let's go to the first one. Yeah, well, glad I got that key. Come on, we're gods. Can't we, like, break down the cage or something? Anyway. She may talk like She-Ra, but she's not She-Ra. Loading. CGI animation sequence. Fortunately, this game has a lot of that. What's this, Resident Evil? Okay, new area. There are different levels, such as ladders and stairs you can climb down or leap down. Leaping is a handy way to move quickly. I wouldn't say that, but anyway. Oh, okay. So going up or down ladders. Oh, so if you want to jump off a ladder, you can. Action button, slant up, slant. What does that symbol in front of the slant? Oh, that's the D-pad. Wow, people. Interface. Come on. Documentation. It's not a bad thing. Let's go back to the front. I'll come back there in a second, don't worry. Let's see what this thing is about. Again, this is a research stream, so don't give me too many complaints. This hasn't been explained yet, but I'm going to cheat. I'm going to press the square button to freeze this dude. If you saw my Silmaria video, you'll understand why I did that. Uh-oh. He's about to break out of it. There we go. Now let's jump over him again. See that? Cheating. But it worked. Okay, so yes, this hasn't been explained yet, but you can press the square button to freeze enemies. I'll go through that nonsense in a bit. Now, let's look at my equipment. Actually, let me go to my skill. Use item. Let's see. Use. Eye of Heaven. Press the triangle button to see what this does. The gem which enables the user to see areas of the current dungeon they have not yet visited. Well, I don't want to do that. I'll save that for later. Union Plume. Wear the Union label. A feather which revives characters from unconsciousness. It's a Phoenix down. Hopefully won't have to use those yet. I am playing on the hard difficulty mode. I believe it's for the first